We will call this special commission meeting of Port of Morrow into order. Today is February 11th, 2026, 10 a.m. We're going to start with introductions and go around the room, but we're going to end with the candidates, and we'll take a moment, and you'll take a moment, just tell us a little bit about yourself, and we'll go from there, okay? All four commissioners are present, except, well, excuse not except, but Joel is via Zoom, so he is here.
Yes, I'm here.
Should we go? Yeah. Should we go around the room, please?
Brady Warburton, Executive Assistant and HR Manager.
Okay.
Lisa Nostromo, Executive Director. Iona Hendricks, CFO.
Mark Patton, the Chief Operations Officer. Board.
Okay, online.
So we know those on there. We'll start with Erica
Erica Morton, Port of Morrow.
and Oregon offices. Would you mind identifying yourself, Oregon offices? Okay.
Okay.
How about Mike? Mike Foreman just joined. Can you introduce yourself, Mike?
Hi, this is Mike Gorman, Morrow County Assessor and Tax Collector.
Welcome. Welcome, everyone, and I would like to especially welcome our candidates and thank you for applying for this position. We really appreciate the fact that you're willing to serve. It's no small feat, no small task in this day and age to serve on a public body. So we really appreciate that. Jerry, you want to start by introducing yourself? And
Yeah, I'm Jerry Beekman from Ione. I farm in the Ione area and Gillum County as well. Fourth generation in Morrow County, grew up in Ione. And also the Wheat Ridge Wind Development, those projects out there were my original renewable development projects that I got funded and figured out. And basically local longtime citizen, never served on a board of any kind, public board, but of the board, this is the one I'm most interested in, so I keep showing up at that. Yeah.
thanks, Jerry. Ken.
Ken Brown. I've lived here in Oregon now for 20 years. I served on the fire board. I was on the fire board for 8 years. Through that 8 years, I found we did some great things. Built a really nice station. Yeah. I work here local.
Community involvement. Luis.
I'm Luis Campos. I've been in Morrow County my whole life, born here, graduated here again, here to live in Boardman. I've been in several boards in Boardman, and I've been on a board at regional. I'm just interested in giving back to the community, and I thought the Port of Morrow would be a good starting point for me then.
Thank you. And Fran.
Raymond Akers, 45 plus year resident here in Boardman, went to kindergarten in Ione, and got ties all across this county. I'm a construction worker, operating engineer, Circle 701, where I serve currently as a board member, multi-million-dollar union, and I haven't served in my projects over the years directly to boards for West Extension, project planning, and overseeing the budget and helping generate the budget for projects in our community. So look forward to your questions.
Thank you, Fran.
Don. I texted him, he said he thought they started at 11, and so he's leaving now, so it'll probably be 25 minutes before he's here. I don't know how you might handle that.
I think we need to move forward. Yeah, I think that we need to move forward. I'm sorry. So tell him to arrive as soon as he can.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
the order of operations today is that we'll have candidate interviews, we'll have discussion of candidates, and then finalize an appointment should the board choose to do that, or the commission choose to do that. Okay. When you applied for this position, there was certain requirements that needed to be met. I just want to confirm that you're all aware of those requirements. For example, registered voter in the county, and that you fulfill those requirements. Is that correct? Okay, thank you very much, guys. After that, we're going to draw numbers here momentarily, and then we're gonna have you sit in order at the front here. And it's gonna be much like the candidates forums that happen throughout the county. We've got 8 questions, I believe, and the first person will get the first question and work their way down. The next question goes to the second person, so that not everybody gets the first question all the time, okay? So everybody gets a chance to respond first or last, whichever your preference is. After that, the agenda will continue on with that. There may be clarifying questions that we go through, possibly not though, so we'll just kind of go right here from that. Do you have any questions or concerns going forward? Okay. Brand,
Okay,
do you mind, please?
so chair one will be here or there?
Chair 1 is here,
Okay,
left or right?
who gets to go first? I don't care. I mean, 8, so that's why you have to go first, right? Last name. I lost my old alphabetical. Okay, so this will be 2, 3, and you can move more closer.
The last one.
4, if there's 5, sorry. Okay, sorry, I'm so sorry. That's perfect, you're good.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, everybody.
Just writing your names down here, so in the heat of the moment, I don't forget. Not that I would, but. There it is. Okay. We will proceed then, everyone. Is that okay? Commission ready to proceed? Okay. Mr. Akers, you are the first one here with the first question. Do you foresee having any conflict of interest issues should you be selected to the court?
I do not have any or foresee any conflict of interest, serving on the board.
Mr. Brown?
Maybe. The top that I work for is a contractor that bids the work.
Okay.
So
Understood. Thank
there
you.
may be a conflict, I guess.
Thank you for elaborating. Mr. Crumpets?
I don't think so, but I do work for the city of Boardman. I'm their assistant public works director.
All right. Thanks.
I would say limited, if NextEra Corporation walks through the door and wants to do something with the port, I would have to recuse myself. And if Waste Management Corporation were to walk through the door, I would have to recuse myself. I've been in business with them since 1993. So those are the 2 that jump out. I can't say that I don't have somebody somewhere that I might have a financial interest, but generally not. I mean, I'm in the farming business more than anything, so I have my doubts that I haven't. But I think, you know, it's a matter of knowing what the rules are, so.
Sure.
I
As a
think
matter
I
of
understand.
understanding for all of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is something you have to be aware of as a public official.
Right.
And part of the thing, of course. I think several of you have been on boards, you already know that, so. Okay. All right, Mr. Brown, you're next. What do you believe is the single most important responsibility of a port commissioner? And how do you understand the overall role of the position?
So the thing about, so as part of the commission, you oversee the budgets and the, well, direction that the director takes. You know, she's your only employee, so, you know, when you gotta watch the budget mainly, make sure the budgets are staying in line.
All right, thank you, sir.
As a commissioner, you oversee budgeting, long-term planning, the direction you want the port to go, setting goals and trying to get, infrastructure development here.
Yes, sir. Sure.
Yeah, I agree with what they said, but I think that, you know, there's a mission of the port, and I think it's important that everybody row the boat in the same direction. I don't think everybody has to agree on everything, but I think that the port's job is, commissioner job is that oversight of pursuing that mission that's been defined for the port to represent the citizens and making sure that executive is supported. And that, I think, I understand the budgeting, I understand the rest, but I think it is being the liaison to the public and at the same time moving the port forward in the right direction, right? In a collective manner.
Thanks, Mr. Strikers.
Okay, that's a pretty good question. I don't think anybody have a wrong answer. Fiscal responsibility would be probably at the top of my list because it's hard to grow anything if you're not fiscally responsible. That would probably be, the number one thing. As a board, we would have to be fiscally responsible for the decisions and the actions that we make. We work for the citizens of this county. Fiscal responsibility, policy making would be, the duties of the commission. Following the budget and making sure things are coming in on time. Just sum up a big picture. So,
All right, thank you, Mr. Strikers. All right. Mr. Campos, you're first. How do you distinguish the role of a commissioner from day-to-day port management?
Port commissioner, set policy regulations. We do not oversee day-to-day operations. We are behind the scenes making the decisions in policy, goals, coming up with new ways for infrastructure development, setting the direction we want the port to head, and what is a long 5, 10, 20-year goal. So we don't handle day-to-day operations. We're more behind the scenes and answering questions to the community. The community should be able to approach the commissioners, and we should be able to answer their questions in a transparent way.
Thank you, Mr. Campos. Mr. Eden.
Yeah, I think that the role of the commissioner as compared to running the operation, you have an executive. The executive is serving at the will of this commission. And you either support that executive and that mission, or you change it. That's the bottom line. And the role for that commissioner, all the commissioners, is to try to represent the best interests of the public and the port's long-term goals. And I think I agree with the liaison with the public is important, but I think that those roles are very defined, and I think you strongly support your executive before you change it, and that should be the role of any governmental board.
Thank you, Mr. Eden. Mr. Eden.
could you please repeat that question? I did.
Absolutely. How do you distinguish the role of a commissioner of day-to-day port management?
I would just distinguish it as making sure your budgets are taken care of, be the policymakers. If things aren't going the way that they should, or you have the ability to change them through policies and I guess that you could talk for a long time on these questions, but in a nutshell, it's policy making, making sure your budgets are met, making sure you have a budget to further your projects. Find out how to get them, I guess.
Mr. Strikers. Brown.
As a director, you don't have any oversee of the day-to-day work. You basically oversee the director of the board, and you set your policies and that you don't have any real direct day-to-day operations.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Mr. Eden, our first. Question 4, can you describe a time you had to make an unpopular decision in the public interest?
And yeah, well, we just we're building a sewer system in Ione. I volunteered to be the city's representative to do that process, and it's a 70-30 proposition. Even today, we have a certain percentage of people in the community that are unhappy. I think some of them will find that they are happy at the end of the day, but had to, we rolled through multiple city councils on this path to doing it. I was the focal point of some of the unhappiness of it, and you just have to face it head on. That's what I did. Continued to point out what the positive, attributes of what the benefit to the community would be. And there were people that are certainly unhappy, still unhappy today about it, and think that I, pushed the community to go that way, but I think it was right for the community, and I think we have 70% plus support for it today, but it was not always popular and not popular today with some people. That's just the way the cookie crumbles and gonna do something in public. Some people aren't gonna be happy every time.
Mr. Akers.
Yeah, I can think of a couple. As I said, I've served on the operating engineers executive board for 9 years. There was a divided house election and it got pretty nasty. So at the end of the day, I was the one Eastern Oregon guy. It was all of Eastern Oregon was in my camp, voter wise. But the new administration ousted me, went against the bylaws, against our constitution. I would say that policies and the rule of law apply. If you can't go by that policy, you can't go by your policy, you should change it. If it's something that doesn't work anymore, you should change it. Hopefully there ain't many of them that exist, but just here this last 2025, the membership, 80-some% of the membership reelected me back to that position at the Union Hall. So again, multi-million-dollar budgets. I think just our general fund right now is sitting at just over $18 million, which is a pretty good feat for us. So a lot of good hard work went in. The board gets along a lot better now, which is great. And another instance, working for West Extension Irrigation District, I was their manager there, operations manager, the only one they've had in history, I believe. Change of the board, they wanted me to do things that was unethical and not right, and that was I couldn't get them to think about the whole people, the constituents. So my conscience told me that I had to leave, and I went and found other opportunities. So I'll sleep good.
Thank you, Mr. Akers. Brad.
Yeah, on the boards of the fire board there, we have some, when I first got on the fire board, the old chief was retiring and wanted to come back. We voted. It was, I had a deciding vote whether we brought him back or not. And that was a tough decision. I'm not running to me,
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Mr. Coggles.
So, as you guys know, the school board going passed, I was on the advisory committee for that. As you guys know, not a lot of people attend these kind of meetings, so people knowing that you're on a board, they approach you, they want to understand why you're passing something. They don't always get the facts, they get the rumors. You clarifying what the facts are. As you guys know, the bond passed by 6 votes. So a lot of people knowing that I was on the board, and the Hispanic community want to know, hey, why are you passing the board? What's going on? It's not what's best for one city, it's what's best for the whole community, the whole county. So you gotta look at the big picture. So just explaining the facts that we're doing this for the children, benefit the communities, all the communities needed something done to their school. So as people approached me, I gave them the facts, told them join the meetings, ask questions, reach out to superintendents. So, and I was one of the people on the board that were pushing for the bond to go forward.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Campos. All right, Mr. Akers, we're back to you for the first question. First to answer the question. How should the commission balance debt, reserves, and long-term infrastructure needs?
Wow. I don't have the understanding of, where we're at. I know there's some big ticket items that we're mandated to do, as a board. I probably don't have enough knowledge on exactly where the budget is and what the reserves are to make a good solid statement on that. But I would hope that the planning went into any decision you make of what we have to do after this. I guess it's my understanding that this secondary treatment is $400 million-ish. I would like to think we had that, but I would think we're gonna probably have to figure some things out in the near future to accommodate that. I don't have all the data in front of me to make a good solid decision or answer that question. I apologize. Something I look forward to getting into, given an opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Akers. Mr. Brown.
Right here, that you need to see the data, you know, the information, you need to know the budgets, how to manage them, you know, you gotta go through and you know, go through the day-to-day budgets and see where you are, where the money's coming from to pay the loans and the debts. We got enough to cover them, how we cover them, you know. I mean, it's something you just have to look at and see.
Thank you.
Can you repeat the question?
Absolutely. How should the commission balance debt, reserves, and long-term infrastructure needs?
Well, as I've been on several boards, you have a projection, how much money's coming in, how much money's going out. Making a decision based on, your, I would say, what you know is coming in, what the future, prolonging is coming into. Making a decision on, okay, we got this much money this year, next year we are expecting this much money. Make that decision based on your facts, the data, the budgeting committee, what they recommend. So when they present the data to you, making a logical decision based on facts. I would like to see the Port of Morrow continue growing, with staying within the regulations of OHA, DEQ, and EPA. Have a long-term plan. We already got this new treatment plant, but make sure that can sustain the new development and infrastructure the port wants to put in or continue growing. So we met the current goal. Let's continue making a next 10-20 year plan. So we can continue developing and helping our community, because these jobs are the backbone of our community, continuing to provide good paying jobs for our residents.
Thank you, Mr. Campos. Street.
Yeah, well, obviously you look at the data, but, my big picture view on it is that the port is in a spot where you are gonna take some relative risk. You have to take some risk to solve the whole wastewater issue, and you gotta figure out a way to do that and sustain it. And I think that's possible. I'm very optimistic that that's possible. I do think that, it's always important to look at the intermediate, it's the 5 year, it's the 10 year, timeline and what you see in the future. And I think it's important I understand the longer term focus of dealing with this short term problem, getting it to a resolution. But I think that reserves have to be based more on like an intermediate view, like a 5 year, 10 year view of making sure you have enough room for the hiccups that are gonna come. I think your customer base in port is solid, water use is solid. I think you could look out a few years and be comfortable making decisions based on it. And I think you just have to stay optimistic on that. But I do think debt has risk, and you're facing some higher level of risk than the port ever faced before, to get to where you're in compliance with DEQ. And I'm not afraid of that. I just think everybody has to be eyes wide open as to that risk and make sure we're thinking about those users and what the future holds, right? And I don't think you can bet forever the data center growth continues. I think that we may be towards the end of that cycle in the next few years, and I think that's the kind of vision that in that budgeting and that reserve logic, those are the thoughts that have to be thought about when you're coming to a conclusion on it. And that's, without looking at your numbers today, I don't know what to think, but I mean, I've seen them, but I think that so far they're rational to date, what you've been doing.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. Mr. Brown, you're first this time. Of the qualities you have, which two would most benefit the success of the port?
For one, I work for the port and I know the workings of the port. I know the water treatments, I know about the facilities in the ponds and I've actually had to work in that environment and stuff. So I think that would be a real value mine to have. And then, I'm an outgoing person, so I'm in the community a lot. I'm out a lot. So, being able to talk to people has always been pretty easy for me to do. So, seeing the community and out there a lot, I think it's a big thing to do.
All right, thank you, Mr. Brown. Mr. Compost.
I think what I bring to the table is I have a good understanding how nonprofit organizations work, working for the city or municipality. I understand budgeting, capital improvement projects, infrastructure. I went to school and I got a water environmental technology degree. I have certificates in water and wastewater through OHA and DQ. So I think overall I have a well-rounded understanding how the port functions. We work with the port on some issues together. So I think I get a good understanding of how port functions. And I understand budgeting.
Thank you, Mr. Compost. Drew.
Right, well, a couple things I would say I bring to the table. One is just actual years of business experience. I've run my own fairly large farming operation across a couple counties. And I raised capital and did development early stage to develop, a pretty large scale wind operation and solar that's being developed in the county. And so I feel like I have some business background, banking background I bring. But what I would say that my better skill at is get into consensus with groups. I didn't go raise the money it took, didn't find the partners it took to build a renewable development. Without having that skill, finding compromise. I sat here last year when we had the whole issue around the ambulance service and sat through that. I was one of the ones that was appointed to give the advice to the commission. And but why, for me, I had been in the background of that, so I had looked at it real close, but got in the room and the reality was everybody had their own truth to what the truth was. And we spent most of that time getting to facts, figuring out what the truth was. And I feel like I helped facilitate some of that in the room. And, I feel like that's my skill set is not necessarily knowing what I know the answer is, but trying to figure out where the consensus is, where the right answer is by learning facts. And, you can disagree or agree with the group on what they told the county about the ambulance service. But the day one and the outcome were two different things. If you'd have voted on day one and what the outcome were, it would have been two different things, right? And it was facts and people compromising and getting to consensus. And I felt like I was a big part of that forum.
Thank you, Mr. Reed.
One more time on the question, please.
Of the qualities you have, which two would most benefit the success of the port?
I would like to think that my background is was made for a position like this. From the union hall to the irrigation district, budgeting, planning projects before, a lot of people, a lot of entities get involved in the projects that weren't planned, weren't thought through ahead of time. West Extension was famous for that. They're doing one up my road now that has never been surveyed, and they're putting pipe in the ground, so they got the cart in front of the horses, if you will. My budgeting background, I'm a team player, but at the same time, I've watched this board for a while. And you got 4 different people up there, and it's not, I'm not a go along to get along guy. I'm a contractual guy, policy guy. If it don't make sense, you have the ability to change it as a board. But perspective, I guess, in a short answer, my perspective is gonna be a little bit different than anybody that's served on this board in quite some time, and everybody here's got a little bit of different perspective and has a lot of good things to say, but at the end of the day, perspective is my own, and nobody can take that from me. Whether I'm clashing with Mrs. Doherty or John Murray or Mr. Peterson, I stick solid to what I believe with room for understanding, if you will. Let's have the conversation. Let's think about what we're doing, and you guys have done that in the past. I've watched it. You came together on certain things, and you went away on certain things as well. So I think it's important that we have those diversities on the board and not just a unanimous decision all the time. So I'll bring perspective, hopefully.
Thank you, Mr. Draper. Mr. Campos, you're first this time.
All right.
Hello. I would think we would have Evan take a seat. Number 2, that join, wait for a thought.
Right in the middle of you. Wow. And then just come to,
Yeah,
do we want to have him introduce himself this one?
yes, please.
Hi there, I'm Evan Purvis. I'm excited on running for this position, and I really appreciate being a citizen of Morrow County. I've been a citizen for 10 years, and I love public service. And yeah, super excited to be here.
Thank you. Let's see, where were we? Mr. Campos. So, Mr. Purvis, what we're doing is we're going down, much like the candidates forum that's existed in the county for a number of years. Each candidate is asked a question, it rotates, questions change, each candidate answers them, but it changes who answers first and goes through the order then, okay? So, Mr. Campos is next. Okay. What are the top 3 priorities you feel the report should focus on in order of priority?
For me, it's transparency. Not everyone gets the facts in the county. I feel like there's always a lot of rumors and trying to get people engaged, letting people be aware of what's going on, so they have the information. Because when you go out for bonds or elections, people normally vote based on emotion, not facts. So getting the facts out there, helping the port develop, continue growing. Like I said earlier, the port is the backbone of our communities. Thanks to the port, we've been able to prosper. So helping the port go in a direction that benefits all communities in Morrow County. And staying with the compliance of the state and the federal government. So, one of my personal views is that the whole community needs to come together and figuring out their issues. I feel like it's everyone for themselves, every community for themselves. We are one community. We do live on opposite ends of the community everywhere, but we serve. So coming together to make
decision that benefit everyone, not just a specific group. And I think with my background and where I come from, I think I can make a rational decision based on facts, not emotion.
Thank you, Mr. Compost. Mr. Reedman.
So, obviously, top of the line is fiscal responsibility, keeping the board fiscally sound, number one priority. Number two, in my mind, is the biggest elephant in the room, which is dealing with the wastewater issue and getting to a true long-term solution around the water, the nitrates, and in a way that it's rational and allows for growth. I think it's just such a big issue. It has to be done in bites. We've been doing it. I just think it has to stay top of mind. Third, as I look at the port, I look at where we're at today. I think it's that intermediate planning. I think the port is executing well. I mean, they've done great. Progress is spectacular. The amount of tax base brought to the county is spectacular. My great concern is the next great thing, right? We're gonna have a huge electrical infrastructure here. We have a huge set of data centers. We still have strong agriculture going on. But I do think that will shift and there's something else coming down the road. And I think that we have to start thinking about what comes behind the data centers, what is out there, whether it's because there's gonna be a huge energy load into this area. It's getting bigger every day. The data centers will either do one of two things, they'll cap out or technology will improve and they'll take up less energy and will still be a huge energy hub. And I would like us to be thinking about that future, because I actually think that future may come quicker than we all think. And that means maybe hopefully that's manufacturing, that's other things that create great jobs. I don't know what those are today, but I sure want us to be starting to think about it.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. Straight.
Yeah, I would agree with Mr. Reed. Fiscal responsibility would be number one. Number two, as much as I would like to say, the water and the secondary treatment, that's been my argument, my fight. I've been on the clean water groups for a while. What we done didn't help us. The decisions we made in the past got us where we are today. And now this board gets to fix problems that got slid under the rug. Hopefully they can be made, but it's a money thing. You gotta be bringing the money in to fix this problem. It's a money, from my perspective. So economic development should probably be number two. Number three would be the water. We gotta clean this up for future generations. We could take this as something we've learned, or we can just keep doing what we're doing. But I think we should learn from this and make it right and continue forward. That would be my top categories for moving forward.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. Mr. Purvis.
So could you repeat the exact question?
Absolutely. What are the top three priorities you feel the port should focus on in order of priority?
Okay, so probably our first priority is, the Port of Morrow is our economic powerhouse of Morrow County. However, I think that we overlook communities. And I think that we need to continue to protect our resources here. We have beautiful agriculture lands, while also finding that balance of industry and agriculture and finding a way to not destroy that land, but also build the port and to continue growing in a way. So my first priority, thank you, is to protect our resources and communities and local communities. And yeah, and then continue growing.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Purvis. Mr. Brown.
I do think that, the financial, the fiscal stuff is really important. You gotta be on top of that. And that'll be my number one, take care of that. The DEQ and the water stuff would be probably my next priority to take care of that, figure out how we're gonna take care and maybe figure out how we can deal with the DEQ better, how we can work with them. And then the final one would be, the port's developed and brought a lot of good industries to our community, lots of jobs and everything. The one thing I see missing in our communities, in all of our communities, is infrastructure to take care of that. The people that come here, there is no infrastructure here. So we brought all these jobs here and they all come here and work, but nobody spends any money here. All these workers, they go back to the Tri-Cities or Hermiston or someplace else. They do not spend their money here in Boardman or Hatner or here again. They don't spend their money here. We need better infrastructure here. How the port helps that, I don't know. But I think that's something that needs to be looked at and so we get these people to spend their money here in our community.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. The last question, we start with Mr. Reedman. In terms of working effectively on a board, how do you foresee balancing working together versus speaking up on issues you feel strongly about? How do you plan to communicate in these instances?
Well, I think everybody has to be frank, straightforward, and you should say your piece, right? I mean, if you're in disagreement about the issue, I think it's just fine to have it in a cordial, straightforward way. I think, I've lived my life that way. I'm straightforward with people. I also think that when you're on a group and you get to a decision, if you were in the minority, you are now in the majority because you are on that board and you have a responsibility to represent the activity that was agreed to by whatever board you're serving on. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be proposing at the next meeting that you have a better idea. I'm not suggesting that, but I'm suggesting that once a decision gets made by a board, this commission, unless you change it as a commission by vote, and you're on that commission, you better stand right in the fray with everybody else, not be somewhere else in the county talking down what was decided by the board. The port needs people representing and pursuing its mission, representing the port. I think it's fine to have a different view. I encourage it. I'm not opposed to it. I just think that the mistake that gets made with government sometimes is people spend time railing against it even after a decision got made. It's not particularly productive and it isn't necessarily getting you to a better outcome. So I think when decisions get made, you make them, they get revisited. I'm good with that as well. That's my perspective.
Mr. Akers.
Straightforward, that's the best way to be. Yeah, good or bad, each board member needs to have their perspective heard in a cordial way. But there's a lot of pressure on you folks. I hope everybody sitting up here kind of knows what they're trying to get into here. It's not a good time to be a board commissioner. That was yesteryear. But I think there is not ever a problem bringing things back up in a board setting. If we made a bad decision, if a board makes a bad decision, you don't just keep running with the bad decision. You have the knowledge behind you and the foresight to say, hey, we screwed up. Let's readdress this. That's the way I bet every one of you do it in your household financing. Hey, we made a mistake here. Let's fix it. It's gonna happen. No matter how many millions or billions of dollars you're playing with, let's hope we're all capable of never making a mistake, but it doesn't happen. We've made mistakes. We're gonna make mistakes. Hopefully we can learn from them mistakes and correct them and move forward. I think, like I said, perspective, be bold, say what your perspective, I'm not locked into anything, any one thing. But it's gotta make sense. If it can't make sense, then I can stay locked in pretty solid. But then again, one vote. Each board member has their own vote and they should vote it to sleep good at night. And I'll always make that right call.
Thank you, Mr. Akers. Mr. Burke.
So I believe that when you're on a commission, you should pay attention to what the main goals of the Port of Morrow are. I think that you can have your disagreements, you can have your opinions, and I think you should voice those. But I think it also looks back on how I view this commission should be. It should be representation from every community, and us as people, we should be talking to what our community members want as commissioners. Yeah, and I don't disagree on speaking out against something that you truly believe in. But once, at the end of the day, there has to be compromise. And yeah, you gotta work together for that one common goal to continue to protect the Port of Morrow and the rest of Morrow County. I'm very young. I'm 19 years old and I love Morrow County. I love the state of Oregon. The way that I see it going right now, it's very scary. And I'm running for this position to protect my home. So.
Thank you, Mr. Burke. Mr. Brown.
Well, the best way to do that is if we're boxing it.
We're gonna install that.
No, I think, honesty about, if you got something to say, you need to say it. Not everybody's gonna agree, and that's just part of being on a board. Maybe the discussion to sway somebody to, see your point of view, just rational discussion, basically. For that, and I wouldn't put it any other way, just be rational about it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Brown. Mr. Coppell.
So as anybody knows, if you've been on boards, there's always disagreement. Having disagreement is a healthy thing to have. Everyone has different thoughts, different opinions. And it's good it's good to have disagreements with everyone. But coming to a consensus where you're okay with the decision that the board is making. Can't always have it your way, but make a factual decision. Make a decision based on what the data tells you, what they're representing, what it's giving you. Don't always make a decision based on emotion. Make a decision that you're comfortable with, because both sides always have to give something. You can't always have it your way. So if you come out of a decision and you feel like you didn't get everything you wanted, but you got something in return, that's good. There's a reason why we have 5, so there's never a tie. So, the decision that you can live with and stand by is what it's all about.
Thank you, Mr. Coppell. That is the end of our questions, and so we would move on. Should the commissioners have any other questions or anything clarifying things at this point? I do.
I don't.
No, I don't have any.
Okay. On the agenda, it is discussion of candidates and or finalized appointment. What is the wish of the commission?
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes, please.
First of all, I would like to say thank you all for your willingness to serve in a position with the Port of Morrow. It is a privilege to do. It's also a challenge to do. So the fact that you're stepping up is something to be proud of. I will tell you straight up, I'm looking what's in the best interest of the Port of Morrow, because my job as a commissioner is what's in the best interest of the Port of Morrow. And so I'm going to base my decision on who I felt did the best and who at this point is going to be the best fit for what's moving forward and who has that vision to move us forward. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with that. Thank you all for doing this. I think you've done well in your discussion. But I'm not sure how we move forward on this.
Well, it's just, I believe, just a simple motion to make, but I didn't know if commissioners wanted to express their opinion or thoughts before we move forward. I would like to say thank you to all of you for applying. Much as Commissioner Stokoe has said, it's a challenge to serve on community boards and commissions now, but it's also an honor. There's a lot of good work that's done by all the boards in Morrow County, and I've seen the ones that you've mentioned have done some great work in the county, and I really appreciate that. I would say that I, as a commissioner, am concerned about the viability of the port going forward. I'll just be frank. We have some huge bills coming up for us and some huge challenges. And so I will be probably making my decision based on who I believe can help us get through that time the best. And so I want to thank you again for your candor and your knowledge and the experience that you've brought, not just to this position you're applying for, but to the commissions and things you've served on already. It's making Morrow County the place that it is already, the place we can be proud of. And we're known throughout the state, honestly, as a county that isn't afraid to take bold steps, has some work to do, maybe to correct a misstep or two, but we're working towards that. So, again, I would just say thank you very much.
Yeah, I would also extend my gratitude for everybody that put in an application and their time and their effort to serve on this commission. It's a big job. It takes a lot more time than maybe you think it takes. A lot of research, a lot of background. Takes you a while, to catch up and learn the ins and outs. And I too am looking for someone that holds that experience and can move us forward in the right direction. Like I said, we've got challenges, we've got opportunities as well. And I like to see someone that, sees our future and maybe changes our direction a little bit to accommodate where we need to go. And look forward to finding that right commissioner.
Sure.
Well, if there's no more
I'm sorry,
discussion,
Joel.
I'm willing to make a motion.
Sure. Yeah, please do.
I move to appoint Jerry Reitman to the Port Commission.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to appoint Jerry Reitman, Mr. Reitman, to the commission. Is there discussion or questions? Okay. Moving forward, all those in favor of the motion as stated, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those same sign. Motion passes. Congratulations, Mr. Reitman.
Thank you, and what I hear you guys saying are important things, right? I mean, I think I haven't stepped up for a lot of public things before, and I think you guys showing up and doing this, I was impressed with some of what you were saying, and food for thought for me, Sometimes you hear something different that you didn't ever hear before, so.
I want to see all your faces back here at every meeting.
Yeah. That's the
Because your
thing,
input's important.
coming into this meeting, I kind of know, sitting on boards, you kind of already got an idea of who you're going with, coming into these kind of things. Can be altered a little bit here or there, sitting here listening to this, you were my number one guy too, so. Yeah, but perspective is always a good thing. It may, it's not, we're not in different categories. We're well-rounded in this community and
That's why
we should listen to everybody.
Right. And so, as a commissioner, I want to hear from you.
That's what I wanna do too.
I want to hear from you.
Come in and voice your, yeah.
Please.
Mr. Chairman, I would just offer, part of my decision-making process, that help, is involvement in this arena right here. You're involved, you understand, you see what's coming, you take the time to see what's happening. And, part of that is, Mr. Reach is from, attending some of our, commission meetings, trying to become more, well, I'm assuming to become more involved. But this is where you're gonna get the truth. This is where you're gonna find out what exactly happened as compared to, hey, I heard in the port commission, this is what really happened. Well, but that, unless you're doing your research, you don't know. If you really want to serve on a commission or a board, you gotta take the time to invest in it, and it's a personal investment. Means you gotta take your own time to come and see what's going on. I would encourage you, because I'm gonna tell you right now, this is my last term. So if you have interest in serving, come and participate, be part of the conversation, so that in the time that that position comes up, you're ready to rock and roll. My other piece of advice, be ready. It's not a walk in the park. It has gotten a lot harder over the last few years to invest your time, because it is a commitment. As Kelly was saying earlier, it takes a lot of time investment on your part, because this is just one of our meetings. So you've got to take the time to do your research, read every document, and understand what's going on. So again, I thank you for taking the time to come and participate in this event. Don't get discouraged. Continue to show your interest and be part of the solution.
Would echo that. So thank you again, everyone. This does kind of conclude our meeting for today, unless there's something for the good of the order.
Well, for the good of the order, I'd like to say, are we filled up on our budget committee people? Are we good? Some of you folks might think about that position if we have some openings.
We
something to-
currently have an opening.
No openings, everybody's
This is the
staying.
third year. I mean, there's nobody up
Okay,
for further.
Okay.
Sure.
Thanks, Anna. All right, being no other business, this meeting is adjourned.